Bill O'Reilly here, special edition of the No Spin News, Sunday. I think it's July 21st, right? I'm kind of delirious here. So I'm on a beach, 2:30, 2:45, boom, this goes blowing up. You know, I like the old days when you didn't have this at the beach. And I'm looking down and I'm going, what's this? And I knew what it was. I knew. So President Biden announced in the middle of a Sunday, strange, that he's not going to run for reelection. Interestingly enough, and then calls and texts poured into me from all over the world, and a Russian acquaintance of mine, all right, said, we had the news in Russia. The Russian media reported it before the American media. Now, I can't verify that, all right? But I went, ooh, it's not out of question. Because people knew, all right? So I wrote a column. The column's on the website, BillO'Reilly.com. And I posted a column 7 hours before Joe Biden quit. And it basically says Joe Biden is through, all right? This is the end. I quoted the Doors. I hope you read the column because people now are looking at me strangely. They're going, uh-oh, is this Karnak, the Magnificent, an old Johnny Carson thing? And I'm going to explain how I knew all of this was going to come down, and our reporting verifies it, all right? So it's not that I'm exaggerating or doing anything like that. We can verify everything you say. So let's walk through it. Okay, so President Biden's been in the federal government for 52 years, right? He's 81 years old. He has never really been in charge of the White House, as we have extensively reported. It has been the people around him that run the government, and they are progressive people, very, very far left people. You do not know their names, even though I've reported their names 5, 10 times to you. You can look it up on BillO'Reilly.com. It's a tight cabal of people that opened the border, that ignited inflation. Biden himself is just a figurehead. Yeah, he went to a few meetings, but he never really had grasp of the executive branch. And the best assessment of that recently is he has not even fired or suspended the head of the Secret Service, who will have to testify tomorrow. We're all over that. Okay, that woman should be suspended like that after President Trump was shot 8 days ago. It's been quite a series of 8 days, has it not? I mean, you're living history here. All right, anyway, so Biden calls it quits. Why? Did anybody tell him? Did anybody force him? No. If you go back to the debate, I wrote a column after the debate that predicted this was going to happen a little bit quicker than it did. I didn't factor in Jill Biden. Jill Biden, her opposition to her husband resigning kept this going for longer than it would ordinarily have. You have a disastrous performance like the debate, you go, because you know that Americans see that, and you're not going to be able to overcome that. But Jill Biden, absolutely, and she has 100% control over her husband, 100%. No one gets to Joe Biden without Jill Biden being there. And I mean, talking calls, texts, and no one. And Jill Biden told the White House staff, absolutely not, we're not going, we're running against Trump, blah, 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 blah. But you'll notice in the last 5 days, you haven't heard anything from Jill Biden. So what happened? Okay. The polling was slipping fast. Just this morning, a Detroit news poll out of Michigan, obviously, had Biden down by 7 against Trump in the swing state of Michigan. And I can give you can just go to realclearpolitics.com and you look at all the swing states are all in the Trump camp. Virginia and places like that. So the Democratic machine, the people who do crunch the numbers, they knew that the slide was continuing. And then after President Trump got shot, he got a sympathy vote. And then the Republican convention was very successful. Uniting 90% of Republicans are united, according to polls, behind Trump. There's no way Biden could beat him. There's no way. And we'll do the numbers for you tomorrow. We'll crunch them. But just couldn't do it unless Trump does something, you know, in the sense of a debate debacle. He'd have to do something at that level. Okay, so the numbers people are basically coming in. And then Obama and George Clooney and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, you know, I call them the liberal Mouseketeers. They're all gang up on Biden. You got to go, you got to go, you got to go. All right. Who could stand up to that? Nobody. Nobody could stand up. And if you don't believe me, when my book, Confronting the Presidents, comes out, you'll see what happened to Lyndon Johnson. He booted the Vietnam War, totally booted it, Johnson. And they came to him and they said, you can't, you know, you're going to lose. We got to get Bobby Kennedy in here before Bobby Kennedy was assassinated in 1968. All right. And LBJ resigned just like Biden. Same exact thing. You cannot go up against your own party. You can't. That's why Biden had to quit. There was no, you saw a few people on television going, you know, the guy in South Carolina and Claiborne. It's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. MSNBC, absurd what they were doing. And I went up against some commentators. You saw it, I hope. And they're telling me, oh, no, it's not going to happen. You know, yeah, okay, fine. I mean, we're in a no gloat zone tonight, so I'm not going to be trying to hammer these people, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so Biden knew on Friday, all right, 2 days ago, that it was over. Kamala knew a week before that. Kamala's statement, and I'll read it to you in a moment. Kamala's statement was written about a week ago because Kamala Harris, those people knew that Biden was not going to stay in. So they wrote the statement so they'd have it. Joe Biden himself and Jill, wherever Jill is, I don't even know who she is. I guess she's in Delaware at the beach house, but you haven't seen her. But they knew Friday. And they were trying to figure out, all right, maybe a miracle will happen. Maybe Trump will drop dead, you know, maybe. And then it was obvious nothing was going to happen because over the weekend, polling came in at terrible. So today, in the middle of the day, very, very unusual. On a Sunday, very unusual. Okay? They drop it. They usually do it, if they don't want you to hear about it, they do it on Friday. They want you to hear about it, they do it on Monday morning. But Friday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. So not only does Biden say, I'm not going to run again, but a little while later, and he did that on X. He didn't make a formal statement. You know, they put out a thing on X, which must make Elon Musk very happy. And about 30 minutes after the initial statement, he comes out with another statement, President Biden does. Oh, I want Kamala to be my replacement. Not a surprise. Not a surprise. All right? Because the money that the Democrats have raised, about $250 million, can't go to anybody but Kamala. And they need that money. Not only for TV ads and radio ads, but they need to set up offices. They need to do a whole lot of stuff. So somebody coming in from the outside to challenge Kamala, that's not going to happen. Now, the media will tell you the exact opposite, but if you want to, look, if you're still watching cable news for information, I feel sorry for you. If you're watching it for entertainment, all right, I understand. But if you're watching the network and the cable news on television for information, come on. I'll get to that in a moment. So Biden says, I'm throwing my endorsement to Kamala. That's a smart move for the Democratic Party. They don't want to go to Chicago on August 19th with an open convention. It'll be a disaster for them to do that. Because remember, an open convention means everybody in the Democratic Party is slinging mud at everybody else. Outside the convention, you're going to have the anarchists in force. You're going to have about 5,000 of them. These are the we hate Israel people, we hate Jews, we hate America, we hate everybody. Okay? They're going to be there in Chicago. And the Chicago police cannot control them. Chicago police can't control certain neighborhoods in Chicago. You think they're going to control 500 5,000 anarchists? And these plans are already made. They're getting there, and they're going to cause trouble. So you're going to have trouble on the street, then you have trouble inside the Democratic convention? No, not happening. All right. So that's the big picture. Everybody has it? Bill at BillO'Reilly.com. Tomorrow, I'll answer the mail, answer your questions, do whatever you want me to do. You can reach me, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, name and town. All right. So Donald Trump issues a statement on Truth Social about the whole thing. Quote, crooked Joe Biden was not fit to run for president, certainly not fit to serve. It never was. He only attained a position president by lies, fake news, and not leaving his basement. All those around him, including his doctor and the media, knew that he wasn't capable of being president, and he wasn't. And now, look what he's done to our country with millions of people coming across the border, totally unchecked and unvetted, many from prisons, mental institutions, record numbers of terrorists. We will suffer greatly because of his presidency, but we will remedy the damage he has done very quickly, make America great again. Donald Trump, July 21st. Okay. So then some other Republicans picked up on this and said, oh, Biden should not only not run for president, but resign the office of the presidency. I think Senator Vance was in that pool. That's not really smart. Okay? Because you don't want to give the vice president the Oval Office for 4 months. Why would you want to do that? Okay? That's not smart. I'll advise anybody about anything. You want to ask me a question, I'll answer it. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, I don't care which you are. I'll answer honestly. But these people going, hey, Joe Biden should serve it. You put Kamala Harris in that Oval Office now? That's what you want to do? Kamala Harris is way further left than Joe Biden. But she's not going to show it now. Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are thrilled about the events today. You have not even seen a leftist like you will see for Kamala Harris if she wins the presidency. I mean, it is beyond the pale how left-wing she is. Now, Biden did what the progressives told him to do. He did. Caused a lot of damage. Real wages turned around. It was terrible what has happened because of the progressive policies. Kamala 10 times worse. Okay, so here's what Kamala said. She issued a statement. I said it was written way before today. I'm honored to have the president's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win the nomination. Over the last year, I've traveled across the country talking with Americans about the clear choice in this momentous election. That is what I will continue to do in the days and weeks ahead. I'll do everything in my power to unite the Democratic Party, unite our nation, defeat Donald Trump and his extreme Project 2025 agenda. Love that. We have 107 days to election day. Together we will fight, and together we will win. So they're going to try to pin this Heritage Foundation 2025 agenda around Trump's neck. It used to be the MAGA, now it's going to be that. Okay. So what we have now is fairly predictable. Trump against Kamala. The dynamic changes a little bit because Kamala has to pick a VP. And it's an important pick for her. She can't pick another woman. Can't have two women running together. She can't pick another person of color. Got to pick a white man. And the Democrats and the progressives don't like that, but they have to do it. Not only have to pick a white man, but they have to pick someone who is moderate, not a progressive. So they can sell that. Kamala's really not that far left. Two names I'm going to throw out. And I don't have any inside info on this, but my gut tells me these guys are going to be considered. Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania. Dems need Pennsylvania. He's a pretty efficient governor. And Andrew Brashear of Kentucky. He's a Democratic governor in a sharply Republican state. Very skilled politician. Keep your eyes on those two guys. But I don't know. I'm not reporting that now. I will have it down the lane. Now, I have as I mentioned, since November 6th of last year, 2023, told you, my audience, and that's my whole life is dedicated to giving you solid information so you can protect yourself and prosper in life. That's why I'm here. I don't need the money. Thank God. I'm here for that one reason. So I predicted this, roll of tape. But Biden, I don't think is going to make it. Now, I have predicted, and I hold to this prediction, that Biden is not going to make it. He's not going to be on the ballot. That the convention in Chicago in the summer. Now, I told you I didn't think Joe Biden was going to be on the ballot a year ago. His position in 1 year has deteriorated dramatically, as everybody knows. If you follow the polls, if you follow any kind of information flow. So I was correct about that. And his own party doesn't want him to run, as the Siena poll in New York shows. They don't want him to run. Something's going to happen, but I'm not sure it's going to be Biden. But I know I can feel it. I can feel it. Something's coming. And that something was the debate meltdown. And then the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. And now the resignation of Joe Biden. So how do I know all this? You ask. Politics isn't that complicated. It's only about one thing, power. When you read Confronting the Presidents, which will be out on September 10th, the book is all 45 men and whether they hurt or help the country. And some of it is going to really stun you, what they really did. But our system is fairly simple. The federal government is run like a corporation. That's number one. But instead of making money, that's what the corporations want to do, the federal government seeks power. Once a CEO or a president or a senator or whatever it may be starts to lose power in the corporation or in the federal government, they're doomed. Unless they can make some kind of stunning comeback, right? Like Trump has done. Trump has made a stunning comeback. Nobody will admit that, but he has. He united that convention. 90% of Republicans are behind him. That's a big comeback for Trump. So Biden, in the Democratic corporation, lost an enormous amount of power and was up against a guy who had momentum. Now, I saw that this time last year, 23, because of the high prices for everything, the open border madness, the Ukraine war, the Iranian craziness, the Chinese causing trouble in the Pacific. Everywhere, Biden was losing power. Everywhere. So I've been doing this 50 years. When I see that, I know the person in charge is gone. It's like a baseball or football manager or coach. The team loses consistently, they're gone. It's as simple as that. There's no more to it than that. I saw Joe Biden failing in the Oval Office. And might have been because of his mental acuity. Might have been he wasn't interested. I've never seen the man get passionate about a problem. He doesn't care that the unborn, millions, are being aborted, even though he's supposed to be a Catholic. He doesn't care. Doesn't care about drug overdose deaths coming through that open border, all those narcotics. Doesn't care. Doesn't care that entire communities have been uprooted by illegal immigration and states are being bankrupted by it. Doesn't care. Now, maybe that's because he's not mentally up to caring. I don't know, and I don't care. I don't care. My job is to tell you who's hurting you, and Joe Biden is hurting you. Now, for the next 4 months, you're not even going to see the guy. He'll eat his ice cream cones. He'll take naps. You won't even see him. Okay? Kamala. And believe me, what the media is going to do is Kamala's going to be the greatest leader since Abraham Lincoln, because the corporate media is allied with the Democratic Party. You're going to see this tremendous surge. Kamala's so good, so smart. And that evil Trump, she's got to be the one. Now, tomorrow on the No Spin News, we are going to analyze Vice President Harris in a fact-based way. All right. Do I want to say anything else here? I think I've hit all the main points. One more point. So when I got off the beach and I got into my house, I put on the news media, TV news media, and there they all were, called in on a Sunday, and they had to fill hours of time, and they didn't know what to say. And I switched around. I got my thumb up. None of them knew what to say. After they got by the facts that Biden's not going to run it again and Kamala's probably going to get it, and Trump was being Trump, they didn't know. They didn't give you what I just gave you because they don't know. They don't know. They're there, but they don't know. All right, that is our special report. Another historical day. Tomorrow, one of our, and I already have it in my mind, and other stuff's going to break over the evening, overnight. All right. I want to congratulate my staff. I mean, you know how hard it is to do this? So we're 22 minutes now on this special broadcast on a Sunday. Everybody's all over the place. Excellent job. And I've told you this. When I left Fox, I took 5 people. All right. And now I think I got the best staff in the business, even though it's much smaller than the others. We kick their butts every night. Every night we kick their butts. Because we are a news agency that seeks the truth through factual reporting, which is why I nailed this Joe Biden. I nailed him from the very beginning. Everyone now knows it. Am I bragging? Yes, but I'm bragging mostly about my staff. Thank you very much for watching and listening to this special edition of the No Spin News. Please read my column. You'll be 7 hours before this happened. I posted it. Please read that. And watch the Jon Stewart stuff because there's a lot of Biden stuff in there. We have all that posted on BillO'Reilly.com. We'll see you on Monday.